Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you. Alright, I hate it when that happens. Anyways, this is Crota giving you game 3 in the best of 3 series here on Terminus. I know I could have just perhaps edited that out, but I like to keep it real. I want to show you guys when I mess up things like that, so let's go ahead and get the game underway though. Bratok spawning as the blue Terran player at the 6 o'clock position of Terminus. Meanwhile, we have WhiteRA spawning as the red Protoss here on Terminus as well. And this map, one of my favorite maps, as a lot of interesting things can happen. And perhaps one of my favorite GSL maps there, as we do see a low ground expansion here. There's only 5 mineral patches and a normal Vespene geyser, and there are destructible rocks on the ramp. Now, meanwhile, back over here, it looks as though Bratok gonna be building up and just training up some SCVs, a front door supply depot, as I believe Bratok was just very, very effective with his 1-0 Marine Marauder timing push, completely caught WhiteRA off guard. He was unable to really capitalize on his economic advantage as the game didn't go long. Probe gonna sneak by, SCV gonna get in some damage there, as in comes a new SCV to start building the barracks away. WhiteRA down to 0 shields. A new SCV wants to try to come in and perhaps sneak in some of that damage. And what you want to do is you want to get in that damage before the shields naturally recharge. If you can get that damage in before the shields recharge, it resets the cooldown. And then that Probe isn't able to turn around and fight back again. So there you go. This one SCV most likely will get pulled away. No, it looks like this SCV gonna instead do a bit of scouting, as 3 SCVs, almost able to finish it off. That's gonna be a bit of a problem there, as one SCV now chasing around this Probe. The Probe down to 2 hit points, and Bratok saying, you know what? Get out of my house. I don't even need to build anything. I'm just going to go ahead and stop my barracks and scout you out there. Now, both players have scouted each other out rather quickly, and WhiteRA, curiously enough, going for another fast expansion. This is a very fast expansion. I believe another 17 Nexus, and that 17 Nexus may get punished once more. We'll see what's going to happen here. Bratok may go into additional barracks in just a moment. Yes, there are the additional barracks now. A triple racks build here on Terminus, and everything's going to come down to this timing tap. A quad racks build here on Terminus. And are we even going to bother to see any refineries is the question now. So with 4 racks, what's going to happen? We are going to see one Probe now try to make its way up the ramp. There are already 2 SCVs there, and also another supply depot being built. I'm actually a little surprised that the supply depot wasn't built here to force that Probe to wander around a little bit too close to those Marines for a little while longer. The Probe now making its way off, trying to take a look. Meanwhile, the SCV does see the Assimilator and the Cybernetics Core. He does see the 2 gateways coming in from WhiteRA. WhiteRA wanting to make sure that he has enough gateways early on and enough units to perhaps counter what he thinks is going to be a timing attack. It is going to be a timing attack once again, but a very different timing attack than the timing attack we saw in the last game. So Marines now still being added here, and as we are going to be able to train up about 8 Marines a minute, perhaps 10 if you try to average it out, and 10 Marines this early in the game, very, very powerful, as we are now just barely going into Stalkers. WhiteRA needs to get about 5 Stalkers in order to be able to one-shot those Marines. That's going to be important, as Marines are still being added and funneled into this group. Currently sitting on how many Marines does he have? 10 Marines, 19 SCVs, as more and more units are still being added. Mules can still be called in, and now it looks like the SCVs are going to join in on this party. The Probe going to try to sneak by. The Probe is going to see this, and now the Probe, is he going to spot SCVs? Yes, he spots those SCVs, knows something is going on. Marine's going to finish off the Probe. The Probe not going to be able to spot what's going on inside the base, but now perhaps chrono boosting out more units. He needs the chrono boost out units, otherwise he's going to really, really suffer here. Warping in a second pylon, making sure that that pylon doesn't fall. 1 Stalker in the front. Marines and SCVs. Here comes the battle. Marines taking a lot of damage so far, as the SCVs are now leading the way. SCVs taking a bit of damage as bunkers are now going into play. So mass Marine army here, and now just trying to take down the pylon. That pylon perhaps is going to supply block. Is it going to supply block WhiteRA? Yes, it will. Or no, not quite yet. 41/44, as the SCVs are still charging up. Marines just dealing even more damage. You can see probes are going to get taken down, and Bratok just completely catching WhiteRA out of position once more. One pylon may get taken down. There goes one. The second pylon may get taken down, but he may be focusing too much on the pylons. Needs to go after units instead. And there goes the units. Another pylon is going to get taken down, and now no power on the gateways. WhiteRA at 28 over 28, no longer supply block, but that's because he's losing probes. And that is not a good engagement at all. Marines now just continuing to put pressure here. It looks as though those Marines just are going to be able to focus down this Nexus very, very easily. He wants to make sure that WhiteRA is unable to really macro up any more units. And if he's able to just shoot down pylons, that may work out. So the pylon does get taken down. Very nice warping in away from there, as the Marines are now continuing this pressure still. And really the cooldown still a problem there, as another probe now getting taken down there. It looks like that pylon will get focused down. There it goes, and preventing any more reinforcements whatsoever. Stalkers trying to run away, but unable to do so. More Marines still coming in. Probes now coming off the mineral line, being smart now to warp in 2 pylons at a time. And now at this point, he can focus onto the Stalkers, focus onto the probes. And Bratok making Terran look easy. I know I'm going to get comments on that one, ain't I? Making Terran look easy and focus down all of those Stalkers there. Finally getting 2 additional pylons. Will be able to warp in. No, not able to warp in just quite yet. As I believe the cooldown was still being caught. Probes now getting taken down left and right. 35 probes killed. 15 SCVs versus 4 probes. Another Stalker gets taken down, and there's the GG. Well played. So WhiteRA, even though he lost to what many players would consider cheese, still very well-mannered, and I think Bratok just read WhiteRA well. Seeing the fast Nexus, and then knowing that he did a timing push in Game 1, knew that in Game 2, knew that he needed to execute a different timing push in Game 2, and was able to take the victory. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.